the founder and CEO of Beamer Studio, and he will tell you how he fixed something which was considered unfixable before, aka the branding and design we came up with. The 4 left-hand company. So, Andreas, see you later in the Q&A session.
All right. Hey, you can hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey, I'm Andreas. I'm a loud introvert and a big fan of communication. The second thing is actually the reason why I'm talking to you right now today. As you know, it's not always easy to communicate information, especially in a way that the person receiving the information deciphers what you want to communicate to him or her. That's why design can be a great tool to achieve that, to structure and group information in a way that guides the eyes and make it easy to digest. And that was our goal with the AAIC format and brand as well. Slides and content that is easy to grasp and easy to identify as an AAIC format. Looking at the status quo a couple months back, like here are some examples. That's a presentation slide or banners. That was not the case. Multiple variations of logos and elements, no hierarchy of information or easy scannable content. We wanted to change that, and the Applied AI conference features a variety of topics. Yet for the audience of these events, it was not always clear that these conferences were part of the AAIC brand, or how to differentiate even those events. Questions surfaced like, is the Agritech, the AAIC's year's event, or what conference is actually the year event, and so on and so forth. That's why we needed to find the balance between distinction and simplicity. To do so, we focused mainly on 2 things. We needed to differentiate the logo from the topics with a modern, simple, and distinctive look, something that identifies and is easy to use across all communication channels. And we also needed to structure the topics in a more straightforward fashion. As the essence of the AAIC is their conferences, we started with structuring its topics. There are around 14 topics. We grouped them and structured them into 5 categories, actually. Those are deep tech, infrastructure, creativity, and sustainability and economics. To make the conferences in these categories easier to identify and differentiable, we added visual cues in form of icons. Easily recognizable ones, as you can see, they are not complex. And additionally, we added color. Here, so you can see it a little better. Blue for deep tech, standing for secure and order. Infrastructure, red, symbolizing attention and urgency. Yellow for creativity, positivity, and communication. Green, the color of growth and balance for sustainability. And purple for economics, symbolizing financial abundance. As for the logo, we started with the font. We wanted a modern, simple, clean, yet innovative look. Something that is easy to read, even on a small screen. We found a perfect fit, actually. Something clear and effective, with low resolution aesthetics. And great accessibility, a Google font. The font is called Sora. Originally commissioned for a Japanese fintech company with the same name, actually. Blockchain specialists who created the world's first CBDC, the first central bank digital currency. So in short, a great font for our texts, and even with a background story. And the basis for the new logo. To make it easier to identify, we subtracted some actually parts of the A's and a little bit of the C to be precise, and replaced it with round elements to give the brand a more approachable look. And here is how it translates into our themed conference look. With this vertically stacked look, we have these squared forms that are easy to combine and also to comprehend when next to each other, if there are like 2 or 3 conferences next to each other. It also works great with the yearly conference logo. We kept the stacked look, 2 vertical text lines over each other, and as it stands for its own, we differentiated it from the other themed topics, subtracting the circle. Here is a quick overview and summary what we have covered so far. Basically the overhaul of the whole corporate identity. But let's get back to the problem we wanted to solve. Content that is easy to comprehend and scan, and that we can identify as an applied AI conference format. Here is how the slides looked before, and here is where we stand now. It has clear structure, and you get guided by visual cues. From the person, the visual, to the main content, to the logo, identifying where the information belongs to, basically. And finally, to number 4, to more detailed information, if it is relevant to the reader. What we also did to make it easier to read is to blur out the background, as the textures would just distract our eyes from reading. The same for other media. The same applies actually for other media as well. We have some other examples. Here is another one, another banner. Here is before, and here is how it looks now. That was actually quite brief, but before I finish up, I actually want to leave you with something that you can easily apply yourself. Here are 5 tips for a better presentation, some tips you can use for your own content, for your presentations and pitch decks, and how you can make them more accessible for your audience. There is number 1, hierarchy. As you can see here, make sure that the most important message comes first. Proportions signal what's most important and what's not. Number 2 is focus. Always ask yourself what your main focus for your audience should be. What do you want them to get out of it? And what should be the main focus of your content? And then place everything around that. Center that. And number 3, I highly recommend skipping a weight. What do I mean by that is if you only make slight changes in your weight of your font, like from regular to bold, it makes it hard for your audience to notice any difference. The key to great functional design is always contrast. So it's best to skip a weight, and as a rule of thumb, I would go from bold to light or from medium to extra bold. So the next one is white space. I like that one a lot. When things are close to each other, your eyes group them together. When there is empty space between your information, your eyes can more easily distinguish between those groups of elements, and that helps a lot. And finally, the evil brother of white space. Let's stuff it all in. I know we all want to share, and sometimes it's hard to prioritize your data, but the next fresh page or slide is really just a click away, and people and their eyes will really thank you for that and appreciate it. And the best part about it is they will actually remember more the less you put on there. So that's basically it. Thank you a lot, and thank you for listening. And if you have any more questions or want to know more about branding, communication strategy, or how I survived climbing Mount Fuji overnight only with summer clothes on, write me in this chat, or feel free to write me on LinkedIn as well.